What if I told you that the biggest breakthroughs in your life don't come from grinding harder, hustling more, or adding endless tasks to your plate? What if the real secret, the hidden doorway to quantum leaps, wasn't in doing more, but in doing less? It sounds strange, almost impossible, doesn't it? We live in a world that glorifies constant motion. We're told success belongs to those who never rest, who push themselves to the limit, who stay busy from sunrise to midnight. But here's the shocking truth. Research shows that overwork doesn't equal better results. It often leads to burnout, shallow thinking, and missed opportunities. Meanwhile, some of the most transformative changes in history have come from moments of stillness, not motion. Think about it. Breakthrough ideas often appear in the shower, on a walk, or during quiet reflection, not when you're buried in endless emails. This isn't an accident. Neuroscience reveals that our brain's default mode network becomes most active in moments of rest. That's when connections form, insights appear, and clarity breaks through the noise. Doing less opens the doorway for the quantum shift you've been waiting for. And here's where it gets fascinating. The quantum field, the unseen layer of energy that underlies everything, doesn't respond to force. It responds to alignment. Imagine a river. If you thrash and fight the current, you exhaust yourself without moving far. But when you let go, when you trust the flow, you move faster and farther, with far less effort. The same is true for life. When you stop forcing and start aligning, reality begins to move in ways that seem almost magical. This video is going to take you deeper into that secret. You'll discover why less isn't laziness, it's precision. You'll learn how stripping away distractions allows you to channel your energy into what truly matters. You'll see how science, psychology, and ancient wisdom all point to the same truths. It's not about working harder, it's about shifting your energy, your focus, and your state of being. Stay with me because as we move forward, you'll uncover practical steps to put this into action. We'll explore how prioritizing one powerful intention can spark faster results than juggling 10 at once. We'll talk about how creating space in your day opens doors that relentless busyness keeps closed. And you'll hear how releasing the old hustle mindset allows you to tap into a higher intelligence, the kind that guides you toward opportunities you could never force into existence. This isn't just another video about slowing down or practicing mindfulness. This is about mastering a quantum shift, a dramatic leap into a higher version of yourself, into a reality where things begin to align effortlessly. If you've been stuck, if you've been pushing without seeing results, this message is for you. So ask yourself again, what if doing less could change everything? What if your next breakthrough wasn't about force, but about flow? Watch till the end, because once you see this truth, you'll never look at effort and success the same way again. Would you like me to now expand this into the full script following the outline we built earlier? Before we talk about the power of doing less, we need to understand what a quantum shift really means in the context of personal growth. A quantum shift is not about slow, steady progress or tiny steps forward. It is about sudden, dramatic change, like flipping a switch in your life. One moment things feel heavy, stuck, or unclear, and the next moment, everything looks different. It's the kind of shift that feels almost instant, as though a door opened inside of you that you didn't even know was there. In science, the term quantum refers to the smallest measurable unit of energy, but it also describes sudden leaps between states. Instead of gradually sliding from one level to another, quantum particles jump instantly. This concept has been borrowed into the world of personal development to describe the same kind of leap in consciousness, mindset, or life circumstance. A quantum shift is when you stop crawling forward inch by inch and instead find yourself in a completely new reality almost overnight. These shifts can show up in different ways. For some people, it's the moment when they suddenly realize they are worthy of love and stop settling for less in relationships. For others, it's the instant when money, career, or health takes a turn, not because of years of grinding, but because something inside of them clicked. The outer world began to reflect a new inner belief. These transformations often feel like miracles, but they are really the natural result of alignment, a person finally syncing their thoughts, emotions, and energy with the life they truly want. What makes a quantum shift so powerful is the speed of change. Most of us are conditioned to believe progress must be linear, and painfully slow. We think we have to climb every rung of the ladder, one by one, to get where we want to go. But a quantum shift breaks that rule. It's like skipping entire steps because you've moved into a new frequency, a new level of awareness that no longer needs the old struggles to carry you forward. It's the difference between pushing a boulder uphill and suddenly finding yourself at the summit with the view spread out before you. It's important to see that a quantum shift is not random or accidental. It doesn't happen to only a lucky few. It comes when you stop forcing and start allowing. It arises when you release resistance and tap into a higher state of clarity. In that moment, what seemed impossible yesterday suddenly becomes obvious, natural and accessible today. That's why so many people describe these experiences as life-changing. Because once you've felt a shift like that, you can't go back to the old way of thinking. So when we speak of a quantum shift in personal growth, we are talking about that radical jump. Not years of slow effort, not endless hard labor, but a transformation that feels sudden, dramatic and undeniable. It is the moment when everything inside and outside of you rearranges in a way that sets you on a completely new path. We've all been told the same story. If you want success, you have to hustle harder. Wake up earlier, sleep later, grind every hour of the day, and push through exhaustion until you get what you want. The message is clear. More effort equals more results. It sounds logical, and for a long time many of us believed it was the only path. We admired people who worked themselves to the bone, who sacrificed rest and peace for constant activity. But here's the catch. So many who follow that path end up burned out, frustrated and further from their goals than when they started. The truth is counterintuitive. Sometimes doing less, when it's the right kind of action, creates far bigger change than doing more. It goes against what we've been taught. But think about it. If your energy is scattered across 100 different tasks, your impact is you're busy but you're not moving forward in a meaningful way. On the other hand, if you focus on just a few actions that really matter, you concentrate your energy like a laser beam. That's when things shift. That's when small intentional steps can create giant leaps in your reality. This isn't about being lazy or giving up effort. It's about understanding the difference between quantity and quality. Working longer hours doesn't guarantee results if the work is misaligned. Many people confuse motion with progress. They check off lists, answer endless messages, and run from one task to the next. But at the end of the day, they don't feel any closer to their vision. The counterintuitive truth is that rest, stillness and clarity can sometimes move you forward more than non-stop busyness ever could. Science even backs this up. Studies on productivity show that after a certain point, adding more hours of work doesn't increase output. In fact, it reduces it. The brain becomes fatigued, decision-making suffers, and creativity fades. Yet when people step back, take breaks, and do less, they often solve problems faster and come up with innovative ideas. This is why moments of relaxation, like a walk outside or quiet reflection, often spark breakthroughs. The mind needs space to breathe if you want transformation to happen. History gives us countless examples of this. Some of the world's greatest thinkers and creators were not endlessly grinding. They understood the power of deliberate focus and intentional rest. Instead of drowning themselves in activity, they created pockets of silence where new insights could emerge. What looks like doing less from the outside was actually the secret to their extraordinary achievement. They weren't running faster on the wheel. They were stepping off it completely to find a new path. So the old story of hustle harder is being rewritten. The reality is that less action, when chosen wisely, creates more powerful results. It channels energy where it matters, invites clarity and opens the door for quantum shifts. What appears like slowing down is often the fastest way forward. In the quantum field, less force equals more flow. This idea might sound almost mystical, but it carries a truth that anyone can feel once they step back from constant pushing. We are conditioned to believe that if we want something, we must force it into existence. We must fight, resist, and push until we finally break through. But the quantum field doesn't respond to force. It responds to alignment. When we push too hard, we create tension, and tension blocks the natural flow of energy. The moment we release that struggle, we allow life to move more smoothly, almost effortlessly. Think of it like water in a river. If you thrash against the current, you exhaust yourself. The river will still move in its natural direction, but you will be drained from fighting it. Now imagine simply allowing yourself to float. Suddenly you're carried by the current with ease. You move faster and further without force. The river doesn't require you to push. It only requires you to trust. This is how the quantum field works. The less you resist, the more it carries you toward the experiences and outcomes that match your true energy. When you reduce effort, you create space for alignment. Alignment means your thoughts, feelings and actions are moving in harmony with what you want. It's not about giving up on goals. It's about entering a state where your energy is so tuned in that the right opportunities, people and ideas show up naturally. This is why people often say things fell into place when they stopped trying so hard. What really happened is that they allowed flow to replace force. The science of this is subtle but powerful. Studies in physics suggest that energy responds to coherence, not chaos. When your mind and emotions are scattered, your energy is chaotic, and results take longer or arrive in distorted forms. But when you relax, when you let go of the desperate need to control, your energy becomes coherent. Coherence attracts, it pulls in matching vibration. That's why the less you push, the more the universe seems to meet you halfway. You can even see this in everyday life. Think of the times you desperately chased something, whether it was success, love, or recognition. The harder you pushed, the more it seemed to slip away. Then the moment you gave up the fight and relaxed into trust, things began to unfold. The call came, the opportunity appeared, the solution revealed itself. It wasn't the force that worked, it was the flow. The video's message is simple but profound. Doing less does not mean doing nothing. It means moving with intention instead of resistance. It means allowing space for the quantum field to align your path. Less force invites more flow, and more flow brings results that feel effortless. This shift from struggle to trust is what makes quantum change not only possible, but natural. There is a growing idea in our modern world called slow productivity. At first it might sound strange, because we are used to hearing about productivity in terms of speed, volume and efficiency. We've been told to get more done, to check off more tasks, and to measure our worth by how busy we are. But slow productivity flips that idea on its head. It is not about racing through endless lists. It is about doing fewer tasks, but giving them your full attention and energy. The result is not only better outcomes, but also less stress and more fulfillment along the way. Slow productivity recognizes that our brains and bodies are not designed for constant overload. When we try to juggle too many things at once, our focus becomes scattered. We may complete tasks, but they often lack depth, and we are left drained at the end of the day. By choosing fewer priorities, we allow ourselves to dive deeper into the work that truly matters. We create space for quality, creativity and insight. Instead of sprinting from one thing to another, we settle into a rhythm that allows us to give our best. This approach also mirrors the natural cycles of life. Nothing in nature is rushing all the time. Trees grow slowly, seasons unfold at their own pace, and even the human body heals and develops in its own rhythm. When we accept this truth, we realize that constantly forcing productivity goes against the flow of life itself. Slow productivity brings us back into harmony with these natural rhythms, where growth and progress happen steadily and meaningfully. One of the most powerful aspects of slow productivity is how it reduces stress. The pressure to constantly do more can create anxiety and exhaustion. It can leave us feeling like we are never enough, no matter how much we accomplish. But when we embrace the principle of doing less with greater focus, we release that constant tension. We stop measuring ourselves by quantity and begin to value quality. This shift not only improves our results, but also supports our mental health and well-being. Imagine working on just one important task in your day, but giving it the kind of deep focus that allows you to create something meaningful. You finish the day with a sense of satisfaction instead of overwhelm. You may even notice that progress feels smoother, because the effort is aligned rather than scattered. Over time this creates a compounding effect. Small focused efforts done consistently lead to massive results, while also protecting your energy. Slow productivity also encourages patience. It reminds us that great work takes time. Instead of rushing to complete as many things as possible, we learn to respect the process. The irony is that by doing less, we often accomplish more. We produce work of higher quality, we feel more fulfilled, and we avoid the cycle of burnout that comes from endless hustle. Slow productivity proves that fewer tasks, done with presence and intention, can transform the way we live and work. When you strip away the unnecessary and choose to do less, something powerful begins to happen. You create space for deeper focus. Instead of scattering your attention across dozens of tasks, you channel your energy into one thing at a time. That focus acts like a magnifying glass, sharpening your awareness and allowing you to see details and connections that you would have missed in a state of distraction. The work feels more intentional, and the results carry more weight, because they are born from clarity rather than chaos. This shift also relieves you from the constant sense of overwhelm. Overwhelm usually doesn't come from doing one thing well. It comes from juggling too many things at once. It's the weight of unfinished tasks, lingering obligations, and endless notifications pulling at your mind. When you consciously choose less, you release yourself from that cycle. Your nervous system calms down. You no longer feel pulled in every direction, and your mind regains the space to breathe. That space is where peace and creativity return. Energy plays a crucial role in this transformation. Most people think time is their biggest limitation, but it's really energy. You might have the hours to take on more tasks, but if your energy is low, everything feels heavy and unproductive. Doing less allows you to conserve and direct your energy toward what actually matters. You stop wasting precious energy on things that drain you and instead pour it into areas that nourish you. This creates a sustainable rhythm, where you no longer crash from burnout, but instead operate with steady vitality. Clarity is another gift that comes from this choice. When your schedule and your mind are cluttered, it's hard to know what you really want or where you should be going. But the moment you reduce the noise, your inner voice becomes easier to hear. You start to see what aligns with your true goals and what was only a distraction, dressed up as productivity. Doing less doesn't mean doing nothing. It means you finally see the difference between what is essential and what is not. That clarity gives you confidence. It keeps you aligned with your deeper purpose, instead of lost in the weeds of busyness. Ideas also need room to breathe. Great insights rarely show up when your mind is running on overdrive. They come in moments of stillness, in the gaps between. When you slow down and let go of excess, your subconscious has the freedom to connect dots and reveal solutions. This is why so many breakthroughs appear when you're walking, resting, or simply sitting quiet. By giving your ideas the oxygen of space and time, you invite brilliance to emerge naturally. Ultimately, choosing to do less reconnects you with what truly matters. It helps you remember why you're doing the work in the first place. It clears away the noise and brings you back to the essentials, your values, your passions, and your vision. In that space, life feels lighter, sharper, and more meaningful. One of the simplest yet most powerful ways to experience real change is to choose one task or intention that matters most and give it your full, calm attention. In a world where we are constantly pressured to multitask and handle everything at once, this practice feels almost radical, but it is in that singular focus where transformation begins. By narrowing your energy to one clear point, you not only reduce stress, but also increase the depth and quality of your results. Think of how a magnifying glass works. When sunlight is scattered, it warms everything a little, but when it's concentrated through a lens, it becomes powerful enough to ignite fire. Your focus works the same way. If you spread yourself thin across dozens of small, unimportant activities, you make little impact. But if you direct all of your attention toward one meaningful goal or action, the energy you create multiplies. Suddenly progress accelerates, and the task becomes not only achievable but impactful. Calm attention is the key. Many people focus with tension, gripping tightly and filling their minds with pressure. But calm attention is different. It is steady, relaxed, and clear. It allows you to engage with the task fully without draining yourself. When you bring calm presence to what you're doing, the process itself becomes lighter. Instead of rushing through or forcing results, you move with ease, and the outcome often exceeds what frantic effort could ever produce. Choosing one intention also forces clarity about what truly matters. Often we carry a long list of things we believe are urgent, but most of them don't move us closer to the life we want. By asking yourself what is the one thing that matters most today, you strip away distractions and zero in on what will make the biggest difference. It could be a conversation you've been avoiding, a piece of work that will shift your career, or even an inner intention, like committing to peace or gratitude for the day.
This practice aligns with how the brain naturally functions. Neuroscience shows that multitasking reduces efficiency and increases mistakes. The mind is not wired to split attention effectively, but when you give undivided focus to a single task, neural activity becomes more organized, creativity flows more freely, and learning is deep. You're not just finishing something, you're rewiring your brain to work at its highest potential. There is also a spiritual dimension to this practice. When you commit to one meaningful intention and give it your full attention, you signal to the universe that you are aligned and serious about what you desire. That signal creates resonance. Opportunities and insights often arise because your energy is coherent, instead of scattered. By focusing on less, you invite more into your life. More clarity, more progress, more alignment. In the end, it's not about how many tasks you complete, but about how deeply you show up for the ones that truly matter. One task, one intention, one clear focus. This simple choice has the power to create ripple effects that transform your entire reality. In a culture that glorifies constant activity, scheduling quiet moments can feel almost unproductive. Yet these pauses are often where the deepest insights are born. When you allow yourself blank time, when you step away from the noise of daily demands, you create space for the mind to process, connect, and reveal what was hidden beneath the surface. Stillness is not empty. It is full of possibility. It's in those silent spaces that your intuition speaks the loudest, and your creativity finds its voice. Think about the times you've had your best ideas. They rarely came while you were rushing from one task to another, or drowning in distraction. More often they appeared when you were in the shower, walking outside, or simply sitting quietly. This is because the brain has a mode called the default network, which becomes active when you are not forcing focus. In that state, your mind begins linking scattered thoughts, reorganizing information, and producing fresh insights. What looks like idleness on the outside is actually deep internal work on the inside. By scheduling pauses into your day, you invite this process intentionally. A few minutes of quiet reflection between tasks can reset your nervous system and clear mental clutter. Even brief moments of stillness act as a reset button, helping you return to your work with sharper clarity. When you constantly move without stopping, your energy becomes scattered and important signals from your inner wisdom get lost in the noise. Pausing allows those signals to rise to the surface, guiding you in directions you may have overlooked. Quiet moments also restore balance to the body. When you pause, your system shifts out of stress mode and into rest mode. Breathing slows, tension eases, and energy begins to flow freely again. This physical relaxation enhances mental clarity, making it easier to see solutions that seemed impossible when you were stressed. Many breakthroughs come not from pushing harder, but from stepping back long enough to let the answer reveal itself naturally. Creating blank time is more than just resting. It is a conscious practice of making space for what truly matters. Imagine your day like a canvas. If every inch is covered in paint, there is no room for new colors or shapes. But when you leave areas blank, you create space for fresh expression. The same is true for life. Blank time allows room for inspiration, clarity, and new opportunities to enter. Without it, you risk filling your days with busyness, while starving yourself of insight. Stillness also reconnects you with yourself. In silence, you hear your thoughts without interference. You notice what you're feeling, what you're craving, and what you're ready to release. These moments of awareness can shift your entire direction. They remind you that wisdom doesn't always shout, it often whispers, and unless you pause, those whispers go unheard. Quiet moments may seem small, but they are often the key to the biggest shifts you'll ever experience. Many of us have been conditioned to believe that pushing harder is the only way to get ahead. From school to work to personal goals, the idea of more effort equals more success is deeply ingrained. But what if that belief is actually keeping us stuck? The urge to constantly push can create tension, burnout, and a sense of being out of sync with the natural rhythm of life. When we operate from this space, it feels like we are swimming against the current, working hard yet not seeing the results we truly desire. The truth is, effort is not the same as alignment, and in the deeper flow of life, less resistance often leads to greater breakthroughs. Releasing the need to push doesn't mean giving up or being passive. It means shifting your focus from sheer force to trust and intention. Imagine planting a seed. You don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing, nor do you yell at it to hurry. You give it water, sunlight, and space. Growth happens not through force, but through natural alignment with the conditions that allow it. In the same way, your desires and goals respond to care, clarity and belief more than relentless struggle. When you create aligned intention and step back, you allow space for life to respond in ways that surprise you. The idea of ease can be uncomfortable at first, because we equate it with laziness. But ease is not about doing nothing. It is about removing unnecessary friction. When you let go of the constant need to control every outcome, you open yourself to solutions and opportunities you could not see before. Sometimes the missing piece isn't another late night or another checklist, but a shift in perspective that comes when you stop forcing. The energy you project when you're calm, steady and centered is magnetic. Others feel it. Circumstances seem to arrange themselves. What once felt like a heavy climb suddenly becomes a smoother path. Trust plays a powerful role in this process. When you trust that your intention is already in motion, you don't have to keep pressing on the accelerator. Think of it like setting a destination in your GPS. Once it's programmed, you don't keep shouting at the device. You follow the guidance step by step. Trusting doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means working with it instead of against it. By easing up, you stay receptive to the cues and signals that show you the way forward. This shift requires courage because it feels counterintuitive in a culture that glorifies hustle. Yet those who embrace it often find they achieve more with less stress. They notice synchronicities, creative sparks, and sudden clarity that were hidden when their energy was scattered. Doing less when aligned is not about shrinking effort. It's about refining. It's about letting the right actions carry more weight while unnecessary pushing falls away. When you embody this, change doesn't feel forced. It feels like a natural unfolding, as if the universe itself is moving with you. So much of our lives are spent in a constant cycle of striving, forcing and pushing. But when you pause, when you choose intention over endless effort, something incredible happens. You align with flow. Change doesn't have to come from burning yourself out. It can arrive through stillness, through clarity, through allowing life to meet you halfway. The universe responds most powerfully when you stop fighting and start trusting. So step back, do less, let flow do the work. Are you ready? If this message resonated with you, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more powerful insights that will guide you on your journey.